Hi, welcome to this presentation. My name is Leah Turner, and I'm the Program Director for GeoSTEM at the Jackson School of Geosciences at the University of Texas at Austin. And I'm so excited to share with you a few examples from our GeoForce program. This presentation is called Driving with Data. So it talks about our assessment, how we report, and how we plan with confidence. So because we only have 5 to 10 minutes here, I'm going to speak briefly about what we should be doing, provide examples, and that at the very end, I provided my contact information. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions and additional comments about the presentation. But I do want to start with a little bit of background information about GeoForce Texas. It is amazing. So it's an externally funded program, and we have corporate sponsorships throughout Texas in the oil and gas industry. We also take from donors from the Jackson School. Incredibly generous donors. I'm so happy to report that we just received $1 million from an anonymous donor. So this program is tried and true. It's been around for about 15 years, and we started in 2005. So just a little bit about the program. It's the largest diversity outreach effort at the Jackson School and of its kind. So we take rising 9th through rising 12th graders on extraordinary field experiences. In 9th grade, we take them to the Texas Gulf Coast, then to the Grand Canyon, then Pacific Northwest, and then we bring them back to UT's campus for a more project-based experience. But we do also offer a transition to college program. This is at zero cost to students. And when COVID hit this year, we were devastated. So we did as much as we could, and we hired the experts that were at the Jackson School, and we converted these field academies into curated virtual academies, and they were still able to attend this year. So we were really proud. We take a cohort from Houston and then also Southwest Texas, and about 42 students, so 50 total on these trips. And we are so proud of this program. So the next few slides will talk about how we assess or make assessments, and how we plan, and how we report from them. So to first assess, and I like to use the definition here. So to assess is to evaluate and estimate the nature, quality, or ability of someone or something. And so in order to really assess a program and see the value in it and what students are getting out of it, what your stakeholders are, you really need to consider who your stakeholders are, and explore that methodology to get them the information that they need. So when we talk about how we collect information, go to your mission. The mission will lead you to kind of put together a few goals. And here, the GeoForce mission is to identify and develop the next generation of diverse leadership. That's honestly all I need to know to start defining identity and develop. So in my program, what does it look like if I were to identify and develop the next generation of diverse leadership? And so when I pull those out of that mission statement, I can really define that. And then I set goals for our program, and I set goals for our staff, and we come together collectively as a group, and we determine what does it look like if we are identifying high academically achieving students who are able to go in the geosciences, and what does that look like when we are developing that potential to essentially encourage and build interest in the geosciences. So from that mission, we then put together our goals, and then from those goals, our objectives. So from those objectives, we say, okay, well, if we meet this, this, and this, then that will tell us that we achieved that goal. So moving forward in the assessment, we have to know, secondly, who, what, and how. So that who is all the stakeholders. It's not just the program participants, it's also the corporate sponsors, it's also us. We want to make sure that we're creating buy-in, that we're getting out of this program all the things that we know we can get. And parents. Definitely parents of the students, are they wasting their time? Is this something fruitful? Should we move forward with this, especially with a program that moves so far through their high school experience? So the what there is the knowledge. Do we meet our program goals? And if you are achieving those objectives, that will allow you to understand if you are. Is there a return on investment? This is huge. Make sure that you understand, and I know that I'm not the only person who has to answer to what we call a board. For me, it's an advisory committee But that advisory committee, if they are going to give our program $50,000, $100,000, we need to make sure that they're getting out of our program what they intended. And it does need to fit into the mission. I don't believe in putting Band-Aids over things and offering one-offs. But within our means and whatever is best for our participants, we want to make sure that our companies are getting that. So providing knowledge, or making sure that when we assess or we create these assessment tools, they are providing knowledge. That third one there is how. So look at the limitations. You have a few different options for data collection. You can do quantitative, which is typically done with numbers, and it's also surveys. Qualitative, there's numerous methods of qualitative study. If you're trying to toggle between the two and you just want to learn about methodology and research methodology, I totally recommend Patton. They've come out with a few different editions, but when I was working on my PhD, Patton got me through my research methodology course, and it is amazing. So qualitative there, we can do focus groups. So really asking individuals, how do you feel about it? Make sure that you are keeping out of that very biased, everyone is biased. So make sure you acknowledge your bias before you create your surveys or before you go into those focus groups. I do recommend that if you plan to publish this information, that's done externally, but those individuals who are going to publish probably already know this stuff and have to go through an institutional review board and such like that. So the mixed methods, I think that one informs the other. I think that this is a really great method, and that's what we use at GeoForce. Make sure that you consult the delivery and make sure that it's accessible. So are all of the stakeholders going to be able to take the assessment that you plan? Make sure that you are looking at the tools. What does it take to do the assessment? Does it take a computer? Does it take a phone? Does it take a pen and paper? Your population, there are a lot of populations that don't normally fill out surveys. They just don't like to. They'd rather talk to you in person. So make sure that you understand your population, and then make sure that you understand the abilities and the disabilities of those who you serve. And this all leads into consulting the literature. There are tons of assessment tools out there and programs that are doing the same thing that you're doing right now. And if you go to that peer-reviewed literature, you will find a ton of examples of individuals who have researched the topics that you'd like to research. You can see what they do, and then you can also replicate that. So there's really no need to reinvent the wheel there. So to report, this is number 2, really reviewing transparent reporting examples that address programmatic mission. So for us, reporting, and again, the definition there is to give a spoken or written account of something that one has observed, heard, done, or investigated. This is so important. Reporting builds buy-in, reporting builds trust, reporting allows you to understand what's going on in your program or at your company so that you can move forward with a really great data-driven plan. One thing that I really loved is a data walk. You can make graphs and post them on walls, or you can do that virtually however you like. But allowing your company representatives, your stakeholders, to see all these graphs and talk through some of those ideas with you is so important, and that picture's there to the right. Always try to get some type of a written annual report. If you do happen to get the statistics from the year prior, you can make marketing material with this, you can make social media material with this. It's so helpful that everyone can just reply back or revert back to that annual report and be able to discuss your program efficiently. What I love, and an example that I'm going to show you here, is the stoplight approach. So we had some mistrust in the program when I took over from the corporate sponsors. So I've been in this position for about 2 years, and just last year, and the first year that I was able to present to our advisory committee, I put together a green light or a stoplight kind of a presentation, which really is transparent. I love transparency. So you see there in our, so GeoForce mission up top, our goal number 2 is talent development. So in our objective 1, we want to broaden our students' knowledge of Earth resources. To be honest with you, we didn't know if we did that because we weren't taking the best data. So we need to be very transparent. And I encourage you to be transparent with your board or your committee to say, no, we don't do this, but yes, we will try. That second objective there, we did so beautifully, and so we reported that in green. And then our plans to improve are in the yellow there. You can see that our career services could use a little bit of a boost, so we made those recommendations. And then thirdly, and I'm going to finish up here, is to plan. Make sure that you take the things that you do very, very well and you stay consistent in those things while you're repairing some other things. Plan those that need to be improved, and then really put your effort and task force is towards the ones that need improvement for that next fiscal year, and report all over again. So as you can see here, from goal 1, 2, and 3, we were able to provide a plan for our advisory committee members. And really, this plan is just a detailed proposal. That's the definition. And then that's it. Thank you all so much for listening to this conversation. And again, my name is Leah Turner. I'm at the Jackson School of Geosciences, and I would love to speak with you or anyone if you have any types of needs. Thank you, and have a really great day.